Morning Football, everybody, live in New York. Happy Friday!
Let's go!
January 19th, we had a little dance party to start the show, a little Camila Cabello.
Oh, hey now.
Before we got on air, you should always check out the GMFB Instagram to see what we are up to. Gotcha!
Yeah,
I'm Kay, this is Nate, and Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt. We're about to find out which two teams will be heading to US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis for a date in Super Bowl 52 in the AFC. Some new kids on the block looking to take down the greatest of all time in Foxborough. Can they do it? Is the question. Let's dive in. It is time for
I always want to feel like I'm the best quarterback for this team. I want to earn it every single day.
He looked me like a laser eye to eye, and he said, I'm the best decision this organization has ever made.
And the Patriots are Super Bowl champions! Led by the greatest quarterback.
Tom off the snap, drops back. He's looking for Cooks in the end zone.
Caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville!
There's two names you play for. You play for the name on your back, and then when you look around, we all play for one name.
Let's go! What's their name? Jaguars!
Okay.
Who wants to run through a wall?
Oh, my goodness.
Love that. We cannot wait for Sunday. We'll talk Vikings, Eagles throughout the show. Stay tuned. Skol Vikes, fly Eagles, fly. But right now, let's take a little bit of a closer, deeper look at the early game with the one thing that we are watching for, the one thing we are expecting, the one thing we have a big question about in the AFC title game between those Jaguars and the Pats. Nate, what do you got?
The one thing that I am watching, the one thing that everybody should be watching is the Jaguars secondary. I'm looking at that secondary with not Telvin Smith. He's the linebacker. We'll have him on the show in a little bit. I'm excited to talk to him.
He's on the show today?
Jalen Ramsey, yes, he's on the show. I'm looking at A.J. Bouye, Sean Gibson, Barry Church. I'm looking at all these guys that are going to be guarding all these different weapons for the New England Patriots. When you look at their height, the shortest cornerback is A.J. Bouye. He stands around 6'6". Jalen Ramsey is long, of course, with that reach. So that's the tallest group of DBs that the Patriots wide receivers will play up against. They have the most PBUs, the most interceptions they played against. So this is the biggest test. I keep talking about Tom Brady and him facing this defense. What about the wide receivers, those running backs, all those weapons, those nickel and dime guys that Tom Brady is used to hitting? This defense is going to be smothering those wide receivers. So for me, if there's one exciting group, one group of guys that's going to pay attention to, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars secondary.
Can't take your eyes off them, man. We'll be looking at them for sure.
Yeah.
See what they can do. We still don't know really what's wrong with Brady, missing at practice but not practicing. So I'm sure any sort of weakness, they'll be looking to exploit that as aggressive and ferocious as they are.
It's a great point with the Brady thing. So we've got all these insiders, and I respect the heck out of Rappaport and Garofalo, and everyone's saying it's no big deal. Guys, when a quarterback isn't practicing the week of the AFC Championship game, it's okay to say it might be a big deal. It's okay.
Thursday, Peter.
It's Thursday. Like he didn't practice. That's a huge deal, and everyone's downplaying it. They don't want to look stupid and say you made a bigger deal out of it than it was.
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal. He's not practicing.
And here's the nugget. There's only been one guy to throw over 300 yards against this team, and that's Roethlisberger. He did it twice, and he lost twice. So if you expect Brady to go over there and throw 350, and that's automatically going to mean that the Pats win, that's not the case. A Hall of Famer lost to these guys twice, and he threw for 300 yards twice.
We won't know. We don't know what the injury is. We're not going to know. So I guess the way I look at it as a fan is I'm not going to even speculate on where it lies on the spectrum of being a deal or not a deal, because we won't know until we see him on the field.
I'm in the entertainment business.
Peter, it's a non-story. Tom Brady not practicing the title game. No big deal. Just keep moving.
It's actually better off he doesn't take any snaps this week. All right.
Okay.
Watched on couches in the press box, a lot of cool upsets, and a few of them.
One thing to watch for
a guy
in my life. I watched
Boston
on
College
couch
taking on Notre Dame. Notre Dame had just beaten Florida State, the #1 team in the nation.
Okay.
Glenn Foley and Boston College beat Notre Dame in South Bend, 41-39. Tom Coughlin was the head coach. 1996 divisional round. The Broncos, everyone's already crowning them. Jaguars, an expansion team in their second season, go into Denver and beat them. Tom Coughlin was the head coach and the general manager. Super Bowl 42, undefeated Patriots. Giants beat them. Tom Coughlin. Super Bowl 46, Patriots are amazing. Giants beat them. Last week, Jaguars, Steelers in Pittsburgh. Double-digit underdogs. Jaguars beat the Steelers. I say all of it because this Jaguars have a guy up there in that press box, and he's doing more than just sitting there like some ornament. Tom Coughlin is the real deal, and the impact he has on this team is the real deal. If you don't have confidence when you have Tom Coughlin in the building every single day telling you it can be done, you don't believe in anything. And you could say that, hey, Marone's the head coach and Dave Caldwell's the GM. Let me tell you, I know that Jacksonville organization, and it starts from the top down, and Tom Coughlin is still very much at the top. He's the guy that is there to set the tone every single day, discipline, works with the players at practice, and Marone leans on him so much that Marone even had to make jokes about it, that, hey, if I lean on him too hard, I'm going to knock him over. I'm a big guy. Tom Coughlin factor is real. He's had Bill Belichick's number in the Super Bowl. He's 2-0 there. They have had the Patriots number. They beat him in regular season games. I will say this. If you're underestimating Tom Coughlin, you're treating him like he's some ceremonial figure, or, you know, a guy who's just kind of in the building.
Gave him a job.
You gave him a job. Put him in the office. Read the paper, shuffle some papers. No. He's still very much a part of this. And I have friends who were in the press box last week in Heinz Field, and they're up 21-0. They're up 21-7. And I've got Brian Costello from the New York Post, Jeff Darlington, and they're saying, Coughlin audibly screaming at the Jaguars.
Really?
They're up by 3 late. They've got nothing to play. They have 1 second left. He's screaming at the defensive coverages. Coughlin is so invested, and Coughlin has Belichick's number. I would say this is not a chance in heck if you just look at it on paper, but the Tom Coughlin factor is so real, and that is what I'm watching for this weekend.
I don't know Tom Coughlin, but I imagine that he's the reason that this team isn't saying that they're playing with house money. I don't feel like this team, anybody on the team, from the coaches, players, rookies, and so on, that are approaching this like, wow, we got here. If we lose, it's okay, because we got here, and that's us. I don't think that that's the mentality of this team, and I think Coughlin is the driving force behind that. They think that they can win. They have never shown me not one soundbite all season that tells me differently.
I agree. And it's Friday. We're not even hearing the question, will the Jaguars win? We're still hearing, can they win? Of course they can win this game. Are you paying attention? Hell yes, they can. I won't even be shocked if they do. And guys, what I'm looking for, while they try, are the Pats running backs. Okay, Nate talked about the secondary for Jacksonville. They're incredible, and I think the wide receiver, the Patriots, are going to have their hands full. But those running backs, I've always looked at Bill Belichick. I always have this vision in my head about, he has a garden behind his house. And some people, they have their tomatoes or their pea pods or whatever. He grows tiny little playmakers that he plucks out of the dirt, and he has for years. Welker and Edelman and Kevin Falk and Troy Brown and all those guys. He just plucks them out like, look what I found. His guys now are Lewis, Burkhead, and White. Guys, Burkhead is apparently supposed to play in this game. Can we talk about how on fuego these guys are? Deion Lewis, 5 touchdowns in his last 4 games. When Burkhead was out there, 6 in his last 4 games. And that brings me to James White. Let me ask you this. If it's a playoff game and it's a 3rd and 6, all these great running backs we have in the league, Le'Veon Bell, the young guys, Gurley, Kamara, anybody in the league you would rather have in your backfield other than James White in the 3rd and 6 on a playoff game, that is the man. Absolutely. I don't care if he hasn't played all year. I know what he can do. This is a James White kind of day. And I've said this earlier. The Patriots cannot lose this game if they don't turn it over. If there's no interception, no fumble by Brady, they can't lose. When these guys are coming, Brady's here, White, Burkhead, Lewis, like this left and right, so they don't hit him. I think those guys play a massive role. The 3 little crops from the Belichick garden have to have a big day. They're all grown up. It's time to harvest.
It's true. You're talking about James White, but you're asking who's the other guy you'd want to give the ball to in that situation. Maybe one of the other 2. Because any of the 3 sort of take your pick in those situations and those running backs. And I'm talking about Deion Lewis a little bit later on in the show. But as far as this game's concerned, the thing I'm looking for is to have a good time watching the game. Watching the coverage of the game and enjoying 2 awesome matchups on a Sunday. I feel like cocktails. I'm sure you'll be partaking in. I will as well. I feel like, Kyle, we could have like a drinking game. Okay. Based on how many times.
Do tell. Go on. How many times
one of our GMFB co-hosts says the word Jaguars?
Jaguars.
Symbolized by wild beasts who suddenly reemerge from the darkness as contenders. My strangest thing. It's the Jaguar. It's the Jaguar.
The Jaguars, Nate.
The Jaguars. Jaguars. Who? Jaguars. 4 takeaways for Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Who? Jaguars. I am Jaguar. What about a jaguar in a brush? Jaguars. Your roar is loud, deep, and powerful. Jacksonville. Jaguars. Jaguars.
Nate will be working, so I feel like every time you say Jaguar, take a sip of the Bloody Mary, have a good time. It's Championship Sunday, yeah?
The problem is I'm going to have my stomach pumped if I play that game. I'm going to be in an ambulance.
Jaguared for sound.
So the word is Jaguar.
Wired up. Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Jaguar. Why does it